Can you tell me how cold it is?
You know how cold it is. You feel cold and it's 35. What else do you want?
Not again. Yeah, I'm tired of this. This is crappy. Who knew we were going on a winter hike, huh? This is promising, but it's still ridiculous. Here's the deal. The deal is, I brought stuff for a cold night. You know, if it dips down, maybe it gets chilly. I did not know we were going winter camping day after day. This is crazy. It just won't yield. It was really cold last night. I was still cold all morning. I was shivering until about 10 a.m. It never got above like 47, even in the sunshine. I did get to put on shorts, but I never really got warm. And we got here and ate in the tent, which, believe me, Turtle Toe does not like to do. And it is cold again. So cold. I didn't start in January or February for a reason, because I think those people are crazy. But April is supposed to be okay. Enough with the ranting, but this is really painful. I literally was thinking of going back to the hostel yesterday morning because it's really more than I can take. Not right. This is a nice privy. Thanks to the ever faithful trail maintainers, and especially the privy maintainers. It looks like a nice day. Don't be fooled. This is not yet 100 miles on these shoes. I've never worn them before this hike. I've literally been hiking for 1 week. But when I was looking at gear for this hike, I was weighing everything, and I had my quickie down coat, which is my like light Patagonia puffy, and I weighed it and it was like 9 ounces. And then I had my full winter rescue coat, also Patagonia, weighed 17 ounces. It's a really nice coat. But I thought, well, no need for that. I'm not going winter hiking. And that's way too much weight. Little did I know how happy I'd be if I had brought that. We had a nice conversation on leaving the shelter with Pacer, who is a New Englander, actually Adirondacks, but we'll call it close enough. Same climate anyway, bigger mountains. He's also worked extensively in Alaska and is a very experienced hiker. But in any case, he was bemoaning the cold too. He started hiking the trail in January, and then he had his wife come visit and sent away his winter kit with her because, well, it's spring in the south, in the mountains where it's never spring. This is pretty. There's Apple Orchard Mountain way over there. Golf ball on top. Sun's out, blue skies, but still 33. Feels like 33. I was wondering why the sun wasn't doing its job. I just figured out why there are all these big, deep holes on the side of the trail, which when I was first on the section, I kept thinking were hiker poles, but they seem too big. Just now I realized that a bunch of the grass is eaten really short, so clearly it's deer coming to the trail because the trail is bare and has nothing on the ground, and so the grass grows first and the deer come to munch on the grass. Here's a munched grass. It's all cut. It's that one too. It's 46 and I changed into shorts. I think this is going to be okay, and I'm putting away my toe socks, which is extremely exciting. Turtle Toe, what do you think of the weather?
What? It's getting better. It's improving.
Glow sticker just fell off my phone. I'm thinking of you guys. Whoa! Bear corn. I saw some the other day, but it looked a little older, but I'm sure it wasn't from last year. because I don't think it would last that long. It is a fungus. The woods are so brown that it's really nice little visual and mental treat to see a beautiful pine. We've got about 5 miles or so of downhill with a couple little 100-foot ups to get off Apple Orchard Mountain. As I have previously mentioned, the behemoth. It's a 20-mile long mountain as the AT does it. We took our nice long breakfast break. I had gotten briefly naked in the middle of the trail, as I do once or twice a day. About 5 minutes after, we had 4 hikers coming up the trail, a couple section hikers, and a through hiker from Texas who hates the heat. Nice cruisy downhill. Might change, but you gotta appreciate what you have in the moment. Don't take anything for granted. Could be all rocks and super steep in the next bend. This pretty cruisy downhill has let me stop suffering for a while. The frigid temperatures have let up a bit, and I'm having deep thoughts. Number one, I love the AT. There's so many things I like about it. I love the views. I love seeing the flowers come out in spring and summer. I love learning about nature experientially and seeing all the patterns. I love the culture where everybody is kind of reduced to the same. People of all different lifestyles, economic means, ages. I won't say all different races because that's still unfortunately pretty uncommon on the AT. I love how it's what I imagine it used to be like before cell phones and computers and even telephones, in that everybody you meet, you're trying to get some information from them and you have to talk to them because they're how you know what's going on. It's amazing how well news travels on the AT. I was a bit resistant to hostels, but I've been warming up to them over time because I'm a bit of an introvert and I don't really like lots of people, but it's fascinating to go to the hostel and really just nice to chill out, talk to people, hear everybody's story, get to appreciate parts of the country that maybe, to be honest, I've looked down on. That's a New England thing, you know. New Englanders are kind of mean by nature. Noah Khan says so, and he speaks the truth. I also love how the AT gets you to see the East Coast as the geologic landmass it is, more than the states that we divide everything into. The state lines can be arbitrary, but often they're rivers and ridges and things that the AT is actually tracing. I love the quasi-religious quality of it, and that doesn't mean you have to be even vaguely religious or even believe in a higher power, but there are some elements of a religious pilgrimage that are definitely there. And I read his book last year. It was a bit of an academic enterprise, but he makes a good case for why the AT is a religious pilgrimage, regardless of how you're coming into it or your taste for religion. Some of the elements being voluntary suffering and going without, a sort of monastic life of just being reduced to needing food, shelter, and surviving the elements. The sense of community that you're instantly bonded to all the other people doing it. Taking on a trail name, which is different from your name in life. The eschewing of regular society. He calls it a subliminal space. It's a bit of work to get through, but I highly recommend it. Another part of the religious pilgrimage is there are stops along the way that are pretty common and everybody looks forward to. There's also a ritual of learning the life and learning the rituals. There's a definite code of conduct. Like the thing that made me more angry yesterday than anything has since I've been on the trail, which was the rando guy setting up a full-size tent in the shelter. And more than him being probably homeless and maybe a little scary when you're out in the woods, I mean, we're all homeless, so that's kind of a hard thing to say.
But aside from all that, what really bothered me was that it is a clear code of conduct that you do not do that unless you are dying. And he was not following that, which is the biggest thing that set me on edge. Really brought out the things that I always kind of felt about the AT, but I couldn't put into words. But the absolute biggest reason I love the AT is what it does for my mental state, which I don't think I'm the only one. I think this might be a big reason of why it's popular. It allows my mind to unspool. It's an unspooling that's not going to happen in a day hike or a mountain bike ride or anything like that. When I hiked a long section from Springer last year, I could feel my mind unspooling. It unspooled like we were coming down a mountain. It was like all like tight and thinking about all these things just running through my mind, things to do, ideas, everything. And then it would unspool a bit and I think, wow, this is great, kind of plateau. And then it would go down more and unspool some more. I couldn't believe it. It took probably 3 weeks before I really got to a place of, wow, my mind is different than it was. And the cool thing is, this time, we've only been out, I don't know, week and a half. And I felt that unspooling like in the first day. It was like I just knew the ritual, my body knew the ritual, and I could just get into it. And now, before I started recording this long video, I realized I was walking down this hill and I wasn't thinking anything at all. And that's a great thing. So we just got a report from Mountain Goose that there's trail magic about 4 miles ahead. I have a pack full of food, but I am always excited to get something that's a surprise and a gift. Kind of like how I bring my lunch to work and I always eat from the cafeteria. It's just my nature. I just ran into through hiker Frankenstein and he told me the bubble is coming, like imminently, or at least the pre-drome, and we're no longer in the preview. He told me that 8 or 10 Nobos just had breakfast together a couple miles back, so it's getting started. I was really hoping to wait a few more days to say anything about the bubble coming, but seems I can't delay. Bubble we're running into now is a combo of January starts who are either going really slow or have run into challenges, and honestly, how can you not run into challenges in January in the mountains, even in Georgia? The mountains are high there, by the way. Or the more moderate, it's all relative, people who started in February or late February, or people who started in March or even later and are just hauling. The trail magic that I was getting all excited about is mobile trail magic and probably moving to Cornelius Gap, which is back where we started this morning. Oh well, still a good reason to hustle. Maybe he hasn't left yet. It's just a roller coaster of emotions. Look at this. We're under a beautiful canopy of green trees. Green stuff on the trail, coming into the bottom, hoping for trail magic. Life is good, but the struggle was real. So I just encountered 4 thru hikers coming up the trail, hauling, probably just because they had that delicious trail magic. They said, oh no, most people are still about 2 weeks behind us, but still, it's getting real. So we just met a guy who said he accidentally went in a big loop taking this Blue Blaze, but it turns out he actually took a shortcut because the AT is going in a big loop here. Kind of unusual sign. A lot of destruction right about here. Lots of work's been done. Looks like we're entering a hiker's toilet paper plantation. May apples are gigantic here. Look at that. These are no Virginia Alpine May apples. What are you trudging the road to?
The trail doesn't turn right, but if you went straight, it looks like it's not the trail. from coming up from up here. It's like the trail is pretty clear, and then there's a right turn onto the blue that looks pretty clear, but straight
Right.
ahead it's all leafy.
Yeah, I know. So we just climbed Fork Mountain. Stick a fork in me.
Oh.
Like this. Trail's hard when you're swimming through these. It's 70, and we're just starting to climb up from Jennings Stream, and it is warm down there. Smells like honeysuckle, swarming gnats, southern guys, Boy Scouts with 80-pound packs who are vomiting from walking up the hill with them. Deep south. Glad to be climbing out, although I really don't feel like gnats. We're on the subject. How is it that you can have swarms of gnats plus ice in your water bottle on the same day? We always think we're special for suffering in New England, but Virginia's got it pretty good too. The hills are wicked steep here. Well, crap. Guess I gotta go down and get water. Let's try this again. At least I didn't get too far up the hill. Probably good. I'm really feeling that extra liter of water. It put me just on the wrong side of reasonable pack weight. And then this hill started with several flights of steep steps, and I did them twice. Hopefully it gets better. Just gonna take it easy and get there. Half mile steep, then plenty more climbing, but it should be a little better. After a pretty rude start, the trail over there looks like a much nicer uphill. Starting to see trout lily, although not blooming yet, but it has very distinctive leaves. There is the top of Apple Orchard Mountain with the little FAA golf ball on it. We were there 12 or so trail miles ago, crossing the horse trail. Milestones going up this last real climb. This hill here, Cove Mountain, really kicking my butt. It starts with a bang and finishes with a grand finale of steepness. We're like 0.1 from the top, but I have to keep stopping. We have gone
100 miles
from the start. Yay!
Aww.
Here, have a
Cheers.
pretzel. Addendum, we're both still moving, uninjured, and relatively happy, and most importantly, not frozen to death. It's the end of our day, and as mentioned, Cove Mountain did me in. Enough that I'm slightly delirious. I'm looking at these mountains over there, and I'm thinking, that can't possibly be where we're going, because often you look ahead and you see a mountain and it is where you're going. But we have no more than 50 feet of climbing. Most likely, those are mountains for tomorrow. There's a little end of day blessing. Look at that trail. There's supposed to be a ton of bears at the shelter. Turtle Toe even vaguely remembers seeing something about it being closed for excessive bear activity. It's pretty obvious why. Just fields and fields of blueberries. Beartown. Found it. And looks like we have some company. Company is good given the bear reports. Even after all my whining and being so ready to be done, I decided the other spot is better, so we're going back like 0.2 of a mile. My feet still feel pretty good despite what they're looking like tape-wise. I only got blisters on the long downhill day, and I got them on both little toes, but otherwise I'm doing okay. My bunion's doing okay, and then I have this crazy tape job on my ankle, but it has been there about a week and it seems to be helping. I backtracked to this spot because I love a good view, and I love being alone in the woods. Also, bears. Although now we're in the blueberry patch. Here's what we're looking at. It's about a couple 100 feet at most from our campsite. Oh, it's just divine. Not sunset yet. But look, we could probably look at those hills out that way and see where we're going tomorrow. I love that Turtle Toe has taken it on as her duty that she hangs the bear bag, which is something I kind of hate doing. I did a good throw. We only actually hang a bear bag about half the time. You vulture?
Might be. I can't tell. It's dark.
It's doing that balancing thing.
Yeah. Its wingtips are lighter.
I wonder if it thinks we have something to eat.
It smells something rancid.
What do you mean?
Something rotten. That's what they smell. I mean, isn't that what they eat?
Maybe. Oh, that's what you're saying.
Dead things.
I thought you were just saying we smelled bad.
No. I'm saying I think turkey vultures eat dead things. Is it bedtime yet?
So many layers of clouds. I'm really bad at my clouds. Cirrus. My mom says the kind that look like fish bones. The kind that look like little check marks in the sky. We have big mass over there, but I think that's just because it's sunset. And then some lenticular clouds, which are hanging over the mountains and formed by the mountains. But it's a beautiful night, and I'm just so grateful to be able to hang outside instead of diving into my sleeping bag.